Come, let us explore this dawn's meditation class and group practice, that we too could meditate like a Jedi. This morning, let's play with Prahevajra's 21st verse from his meditation classic, The Unwaning Victory Banner. Together. The path of purification with higher and higher levels is not in accordance with the teachings of non-action. If there is a path conducive to progress, it is beyond attainment, like the end of the sky. So this is a deliciously controversial passage. Now, I'm a coward. I don't like being a pain in the ass just because it gets my attention. But this speaks to something very, very deep to me. During my first 3-year retreat, I was first exposed to the idea of the Lam Rim, or gradual path, from devotion to one's kind teacher to bliss and emptiness. And I was told by many people with bad haircuts and strange clothes that this was the path to enlightenment. In fact, my kind former wife for Hanukkah gave me a book which was titled The Path to Enlightenment. It was composed by the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet, and it was his commentary to an ancient commentary on the gradual path known as Essence of Refined Gold. And that book and so many other books just kept saying we can't read the Buddha's teachings directly. We have to look at some scholars' outline based on the teachings. And there has to be a gradual path that takes great effort and great time. And deep down, I found that unsatisfying. Once I started my tantric training, I was given another lamrim, and this one they called, and lamrim is a Tibetan phrase, the lamrim I was given then was called ngondro, or preliminary practices, and it had 4 aspects of the lamrim, which were very, very fearful and very, very rigid, and then it had other things. It had the austerities of bowing. One was supposed to gather 100,000 bows, 100,000 recitations of the refuge prayer, 100,000 recitations of the bodhicitta prayer, 100,000 mandala offerings, 100,000 recitations of the 100-syllable mantra, and 100,000 recitations of the Guru Yoga practice. Other lamrims, other ngondros also included the Cho practice, which blends preparation for death with sacrifice and love. And I was told by many teachers and by many students that this is the necessary preliminary practice, and that this practice could take months or even years. But I was haunted. I was haunted by a passage from the Buddha's discourse on the four bases of mindfulness. I refer to this passage frequently. It's the second to the last passage, and it promises that one could master the Buddha's path in as little as 7 days. So I always felt a conflict between the teachers who were, please bear with me, the teachers who were flexible, loving, rational, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind, and the cranky folks, the cranky teachers, the fearful teachers who were rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. So imagine my surprise and my delight when finally I was exonerated by this passage. What passage, you might ask? The passage we just looked at. The so-called path of purification with higher and higher levels is not in accordance with the teachings of non-action. Now, lots of stupid white people think that non-action is unique to Taoism, but it is a teaching ubiquitous amongst all who traverse the path of yin, all who traverse the path of spiritual matriarchy, all who choose to embrace their potential to be flexible, loving, rational, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. They all recognize the superiority of having one's choices, utterances, and deeds flow from a place not of scattered spontaneity, but of centered spontaneity. And the author is saying, guys, you know, the sixth fold of the Buddha's eightfold path is the right effort that is effortless. The whole idea of a gradual path is in conflict with that. In Chinese Chan, and there grew so many divisions, but one of the divisions was between sudden enlightenment and gradual enlightenment. And the students of the Yung Jieshuan Jue, who authored the Path of Enlightenment, or the Song of Enlightenment, taught that sudden enlightenment could also be gentle. Just by practicing mindfulness and meditation, one can experience the sudden enlightenment that the Buddha described as occurring within 7 days. In as little as 7 days. Whereas those who insisted on in the path of the sixth patriarch often tried to aggressively and rigidly force enlightenment on others through confusing them and surprising them, often by doing something physically violent or conceptually jarring through the utterance of unusual statements. Sadly, more people were interested in the dramatic approach than they were in the gentle approach, typified by the Song of Enlightenment, and typified by the Buddha, and typified by Prahevajra. So anybody who practices a path of purification is practicing a gradual path. Anyone who is just concerned with awareness and release, whether they know it or not, is traversing a sudden path. Because let's face it, a week is pretty quick. If there is a path conducive to progress, it is beyond attainment like the end of the sky. I'm a big sci-fi geek, and I had the good fortune to read, I think it's Larry Niven's Ringworld. And there's this planet with a belt around it, a man-made belt. And the people on the planet have lost all the technologies. They've reverted back to the Bronze Age. And an individual in the story on the planet is going to follow the path on the planet of the path in the sky, the ring around the planet, to find its end. And of course, the joke is that it's a ring, there is no end. But the fellow on the planet is so intoxicated with the illusion of the nobility of his quest that he has forsaken any logic. So similarly, the reason why a gradual path won't work is that it's a contrivance. It's like a recipe. A recipe might work great for making a delicious dish, but the Buddha's path is one of centered spontaneity. That's the sixth fold of the Buddha's rightful path. Not the wrong effort of just gutting it out, but the right effort that is effortless effort. Now you might say, well, isn't mindfulness and meditation also a form of effort? To which I would respond, oh, such a good question. And here's how I would answer it for you. Going to tab button 9. Every time we inhale, thanks to the sympathetic aspect of our autonomic nervous system, let me just back up for a second. Every central nervous system has an autonomic nervous system within it. It is that an autonomic nervous system is basically just the spinal cord and the little teeny nerves that leave it and connect it to various organs. So the spinal cord has a center bit we call the sympathetic nervous system, and the bits at each end that are like bookends on a shelf. And this is called the parasympathetic nervous system, which is very fancy words. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we are wired by evolution to automatically access the sympathetic aspect of our autonomic nervous system, which is wired to help us to notice in a very special way, vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. Notice the word passively. This is important. What have we evolved to notice? We have evolved to notice mind's antics of perception. Sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like, including our emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. Now, because we are wired to notice randomly, without indulging our controlling tendencies to pick and choose, we are vulnerable to all manner of phenomena. The external, the internal, the physical, the mental, the pleasurable, the painful, the interesting, the boring, the glorious, and the grotesque. Now, what do we do with that which we noticed? Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we have evolved to automatically access the end bits of our autonomic nervous system, known as the parasympathetic nervous system, that have evolved to help us to physically relax and mentally release to such a degree that that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, and less defining. And if you prefer figurative language, It can help us physically relax to such a degree that that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as non-graspable as, whoopsie, what happened there? Aha. So, it can help us relax to such a degree that that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could figuratively feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could look tantalizing to the eye, feels non-graspable to the hand. The most efficient way for us to practice mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. Let me jump back. We're already wired to automatically practice mindfulness and meditation. The real question is, are we going to passively cooperate with the process, or are we going to actively get in our own way? The most efficient way to passively cooperate with the workings of our autonomic nervous system, that the ancients refer to as our Buddha nature, is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation, and to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Now, we do not do this to coerce our central nervous system to notice and relax. Au contraire, we do this to align our intention with our factory installed programming. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Having completed our opening lesson, we can now shift gears. It is Obi-Wan Kenobi Wednesday morning. Let us meditate like a Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Dzogchen Sunday Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I can become your personal, nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. For the remainder of this morning's live stream, we could play with the latest iteration of Very Easy Meditation. Both this text and the text I drew this morning's lesson from are available for free download. Just follow the instructions in the description area below the video. Okay, here we go. The easiest way to keep track of our first collection of 144 inhalations is to rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger, palm the tip of our left index finger, palms up in our lap. Let's keep track of the next 12 inhalations on the fingers of our right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We could use the creases on the fingers of our left hand to count 12 sets of 12 inhalations each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10, 12 sets of 12 inhalations each. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. To keep track of our second collection of 144 inhalations, we could rest the second knuckle of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger, palms up in our lap. We could count 12 inhalations on our right hand. We could count the next 12 inhalations, the fingers of our right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. To begin our third collection of 144 inhalations, we could rest the small knuckle at the very tip of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger, palms up in our lap. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. Oopsie. In approximately 11 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's dusk meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.